Welcome to Dark Night Stories. The hour is late, and outside, the unrelenting storm has drowned out all the noises of the living world. Tonight, we invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the roar of the rain guide you into the shadows. Be warned. We are entering the territory of a genuine true scary story, a long narration designed to both relax and disturb. We are beginning the journey down the endless road, the shadows of Elmhurst City. Chapter 1. The apartment that never sleeps. The rain fell endlessly over Elmhurst City, washing the streets in a dull silver glow. Neon lights flickered outside small diners, and puddles reflected the faces of strangers who never looked up. It was a city that never slept, not because it was alive, but because it was haunted. Not by ghosts you could see, but by memories you could never escape. Mira Santos moved into apartment 507 on a Thursday night. She was 27, alone, and tired of running from her past. Her mother had passed away just 2 months ago, and her father had disappeared when she was a child. Elmhurst City was supposed to be a fresh start, a place where she could breathe again. The building was old, a cracked brick structure with faded green walls and narrow hallways that smelled like damp wood and cigarette smoke. The landlord, Mr. Carlton, was an elderly man with shaky hands and sunken eyes. He spoke softly when he gave her the keys. "Keep the windows closed after midnight," he whispered, his voice almost trembling. "And if you hear knocking from the walls, don't answer it." Mira laughed nervously, thinking it was just a weird city superstition. She thanked him, took the keys, and dragged her single suitcase up to her new home. Apartment 507 was small but cozy, a one-bedroom corner unit with a wide window overlooking the city skyline. The furniture was simple, and though the air smelled faintly of mold, it felt strangely familiar, almost comforting. That first night, she couldn't sleep. The rain outside had turned heavier, pounding against the glass. The clock struck 2:47 a.m. when she first heard it. 3 slow knocks from inside the wall behind her bed. Knock, knock, knock. Her breath froze. Maybe it was the pipes or the building settling. She tried to ignore it, wrapping herself tighter in her blanket. But then she heard a soft voice, like a whisper crawling through the cracks of the wall. "It's cold here." Mira shot up, her eyes wide. The voice was faint but unmistakable. She turned on the bedside lamp. The light flickered, and for a brief second, she thought she saw a shadow move along the wall like someone standing just behind it. She waited, but there was silence again. No more knocks, no more whispers. By morning, she convinced herself it had just been a dream. She went about her day exploring the city, trying to distract herself. Elmhurst was beautiful in the daylight. Crowded cafes, bookstores, and people who seemed too busy to notice anything beyond their own lives. But there was a strange emptiness in the air. Every block had at least one abandoned building, boarded up with warnings. "Do not enter. Property sealed." When she returned home that evening, the hallway outside her apartment was darker than usual. The light above her door flickered, casting long shadows across the walls. Something about it made her uneasy, but she shrugged it off. Inside, she made dinner and turned on some soft music. Everything felt fine until she noticed the mirror in the living room. It wasn't hers. She hadn't seen it before. A tall, antique mirror with a carved wooden frame stood near the corner, facing her directly. It looked expensive, and out of place. She checked around, thinking maybe the landlord had moved it from another unit by mistake. But when she looked at her reflection, her heart stopped. In the mirror, the apartment looked slightly different. The curtains were drawn, the lights dimmer, and behind her reflection someone was standing. A woman. Pale skin, long black hair, wearing a white nightgown soaked in something dark. Mira turned around instantly. No one was there. Her reflection, however, hadn't moved. The woman in the mirror still stood behind it. Closer now. Mira backed away, shaking, and then threw a cloth over the mirror. Her pulse raced. She didn't sleep that night either. The next morning, she went downstairs to confront Mr. Carlton. But the old man wasn't there. The neighbor next door, a tired-looking woman named Hazel, opened her door when she heard Mira knocking. Hazel's eyes were hollow, her voice flat. "Emma, Carlton hasn't been around for weeks," she said. "He passed away last month." Mira froze. "That's not possible. I spoke to him 3 days ago." Hazel shook her head slowly. "No, you didn't. That night, everything changed. The knocking came again. Louder this time. 4 knocks. Then 5. Then silence. The whispering returned. But this time it wasn't one voice, it was many. A chorus of whispers. All coming from the walls, the floor, even the ceiling. Mira fell to her knees, covering her ears. Tears streaming down her face. Let us out. It's dark in here. He won't let us leave. Suddenly, the lights burst out. The apartment plunged into darkness. Mira grabbed her phone, but the screen flickered and went black. The only light came from beneath the cloth covering the mirror, a dim, pulsing glow. Her shaking hand reached out to pull the cloth away. When she did, she screamed. The mirror was no longer reflecting her apartment. Instead, it showed a hallway long, endless, and lined with doors. The same number on every door, 507. And at the far end of that hallway stood Mr. Carlton. His face was pale, his eyes hollow, and in his hand, he held a key. Welcome home, Mira, he said softly, his lips not quite matching his voice. You're the last tenant we needed. The reflection began to ripple, and the light in the apartment dimmed completely. The walls around her seemed to move, breathing, stretching. A cold hand brushed her shoulder. She turned, but there was nothing until the mirror surface rippled again and a pale arm reached out, gripping her wrist with icy strength. She screamed, trying to pull away, but the arm yanked her forward. Her body collided with the glass, and then disappeared. The mirror stilled, reflecting only an empty room. When Hazel came knocking the next morning, apartment 507 was locked from the inside. The landlord's records showed the room had been vacant for 10 years. And yet, if you walk past that apartment at 2:47 a.m., you can still hear it knock, 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 and a faint voice whispering from behind the walls. It's cold here. Chapter 2. Reflections don't lie. The air was thick, not just heavy, but alive. Mira felt it pressing against her chest, cold and suffocating. When she opened her eyes, she wasn't in her apartment anymore. The walls around her pulsed faintly, like veins beneath pale skin. The floor beneath her feet reflected light as if it were glass. Everything shimmered with a dull, silvery glow, familiar, yet wrong. The first thing she noticed was silence. No hum of the refrigerator, no distant sound of cars, not even her own breathing echoed back. It was as though the air swallowed sound whole. When she finally found her voice, she whispered, "Hello." Her voice echoed, not around her, but within her. And then came the answer. "Welcome home, Mira." She spun around. At the far end of the endless hallway stood Mr. Carlton. The same grey suit, the same hollow eyes, but his skin was cracked like porcelain. Thin lines running across his face as if he might shatter at any moment. "What is this place?" she demanded, her voice trembling. "Where am I?" Carlton smiled, a slow, unnatural stretch of his lips. "You're still home. Just on the other side." "The other side of what?" "The mirror," he said softly. "The side that remembers." Myra's heart pounded. "Let me out." He tilted his head, studying her. "You came willingly, Mira. You followed the light. You always wanted to know what was real. Now you'll see." Before she could respond, he stepped backward and vanished into one of the doors lining the hallway, each one marked 507. Mira ran after him, but every door she touched was ice cold and locked tight. The hallway seemed endless. Each step echoed behind her, but sometimes, too many footsteps echoed back. She wasn't alone. Somewhere behind her, she heard slow, dragging footsteps, like someone walking barefoot on glass. She turned, but there was no one. Only the faint reflection of herself in the glossy floor. Except, her reflection didn't move when she did. Her throat tightened. She lifted her arm. The reflection stayed still. Then, it smiled. Mira stumbled back, heart racing. Her reflection began to walk toward her, each step rippling through the mirrored floor like water. And then, with one last grin, it sank beneath the surface, vanishing. Everything went quiet again. Mira ran. She didn't know where, only that she had to move. The hallway stretched endlessly. The same walls, same doors, same number. But as she passed each one, faint whispers leaked out. "Don't open it. He'll hear you. He feeds on the ones who remember." She stopped at one door where the whispers were louder. Something about the voice felt familiar, warm, broken, human. She pressed her ear to the door. "Myra." She froze. That was her mother's voice. Her breath caught. "Mum." The voice came again, trembling, desperate. Please, open it. I'm cold. Her hand shook as she reached for the handle. The metal burned her skin, but she didn't care. The door creaked open, revealing a dim room filled with faint light. Inside, a woman sat facing the wall, long black hair cascading down her shoulders. Mom, Mira whispered again. Stepping closer, the woman turned slowly. Her face was pale, hollow, and her eyes completely black. She smiled, but it wasn't a smile Mira recognized. I missed you, the woman said in her mother's voice, though her lips barely moved. Mira's chest tightened. Tears filled her eyes. She reached out, and the woman lunged. Cold hands gripped Mira's face, and the skin beneath her fingers began to tear like paper. Behind that face wasn't flesh, but darkness, a swirling void filled with whispers. Mira screamed, breaking free and slamming the door shut. The whispers faded instantly. The hallway fell silent again, but her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She fell to her knees, gasping, tears running down her cheeks. What do you want from me? She shouted. The walls answered, softly at first, then louder. We want out. He trapped us here. He feeds on us. Mira backed against the wall, her mind spinning. Who? Carlton. The name echoed like thunder. The lights above her flickered. When they steadied again, the hallway was no longer empty. Dozens of figures now stood behind the glassy doors. Pale faces pressed against the surface, eyes wide and pleading. Some mouthed her name, others clawed at the inside of the mirrors, their hands leaving streaks of red. Mira's breath hitched. She stumbled backward, and her shoulder brushed another door. This one opened on its own. Inside was a small, dimly lit apartment. Her apartment, but not as she'd left it. The walls were cracked, mold spreading like veins. The bed was drenched in something dark. And sitting on the edge of that bed, was another mirror, her reflection, smiling. Welcome back, the reflection whispered. Mira shook her head, trembling. No, you're not me. The reflection tilted her head. Aren't I? You ran from everything. Your father, your mother, your guilt. I stayed. I remembered. I'm the part of you that never left this place. Mira stepped back toward the hallway, but the door slammed shut behind her. The reflection stood, her movement slow and deliberate. He brought you here to replace me. That's how he keeps his world alive. Every reflection needs a soul. What are you talking about? Mira cried. The reflection smiled sadly. He's dying, Mira. This place feeds on the living, and he's running out of tenants. Someone has to take his place. The lights flickered again. The reflection's eyes turned black. And tonight, it's you. The floor beneath them cracked. A deep, hollow sound echoed through the hallway, like a heartbeat. The reflection lunged forward, but Mira darted aside. She grabbed a shard of broken glass from the floor and swung it wildly. The reflection caught her wrist, her skin cold as ice. You can't fight your own shadow, it hissed. Mira screamed and slammed the shard against the wall. The mirror cracked. A high-pitched shriek filled the air, not from the reflection, but from the walls themselves. For a moment, everything stopped. Then the hallway began to collapse. The walls folded inward, the light flickering violently. Mira ran, but every direction led to another 507 door. She fell against one, and it burst open, not into another room, but into the void. Darkness swallowed everything. She landed hard on the floor, gasping. The air smelled like dust and old wood. When she looked up, she realized she was back in her apartment. The rain still fell outside. The clock read 2:47 a.m. Had it all been a dream? Her hands were trembling, covered in tiny cuts. The mirror was still there, cracked down the middle. Behind the broken glass, faint shapes moved, faces pressing against it from the other side. And then she saw herself. Her reflection smiled, but Mira wasn't smiling. The reflection mouthed the word slowly. Clearly, you're next. And then, just before the light went out, Mira saw Mr. Carlton standing in the reflection beside her double, holding another key.